Hi, my name is Louise. 3 years ago, I was a patient in intensive care in Plymouth and I experienced severe delirium. I can only describe delirium from a patient perspective. Many patients' perspectives are the same, but also different. Some will experience happy deliriums, whilst others experience quite the opposite. In my case, I experienced torture, abuse, physical harm, harassment, hallucinations, riots, war, fear, so many things. But what needs to be understood about delirium is that to that person, it is real. It's their reality. And in that moment, it's happening to them. I can remember minute details from smells, textures, sounds. And although I know it wasn't real, I still believe it to be real. And I still believe it happened. It's one of those situations where you only know what it's like if you've been there. Textbooks are fantastic, but they could never replace first-hand accounts of patient experience. So, from a patient perspective, here are some of my top tips on how to deliver patient care to someone with delirium. Number one, never underestimate your patients. They are capable of amazing things, and whilst in a delirious state, you will be the person they trust the most. Number two, listen. If your patient isn't quite themselves or is experiencing delirium, listen to them, reassure them and make them feel safe. You may find yourself repeating the same things, but your reassurance will make the patient feel safe. Where possible, take a minute to hold their hand. They may be in the most horrendous delirium, but your touch can help them to feel a connection to reality. Number three, patient-centered care. As difficult as it is, especially now, always have time. Hair wash, manicure, colouring, anything that can help bring the patient back to reality. Make sure the patient has their belongings, glasses, hearing aid, phone, anything that might help them. Find out from relatives what the patient's interests and hobbies are to help inform OT and the wider MD team. Understand that your patient might be in a different reality. They may be flying a Spitfire, but you won't know that. If they talk about things that you can't see, don't dismiss them. Instead, reassure them and reaffirm where they are and that they're safe. Number five, keep the patient informed. Always tell the patient what you're doing. Again, they may not understand at the time, but in the future, it may help them understand things more clearly. Number six, give a good handover. When your patient moves on from ICU, tell the staff during handover of the delirium. It's so important that the staff taking the patient are aware so that they can continue to support and give that coordinated care. Number seven, involve the relatives. If your patient is delirious, they might not know what's going on, so keep the relatives informed. They can be the patient's eyes and ears. Tell them their loved one has delirium so that they can better support them. It can be scary and confusing to see a loved one with delirium, but with your support, they can help their relative. Number eight, patient diaries. Taking the time to record the patient's journey from beginning to end can make an enormous difference to a patient post-ICU, helping them to understand what happened, fill in the blanks. Number nine, don't forget the patient after discharge. Follow-up services are so important. Even just a point of contact for past patients, someone for them to get in touch with if they have concerns or questions. The postcode lottery of post-ICU rehab has to end. Follow-up care and rehab is so vital and must be available to all, regardless of what put that person in ICU and how long they were admitted for. So I hope you find my top tips useful. You can read more about my journey on my blog, which is www.fromdeliriumtoreality.com. World Delirium Day is on March the 16th, and there will be lots of events and talks happening across the globe and social media. So go find your cape, become a delirium superhero, and let's turn delirium awareness into delirium action.